Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Poke Historian. I'm your host, Matt X, and we're back on the Dex app tonight, looking at one of the most legendary Pokemon card sets, Skyridge. Also, one of the most shorted printed Pokemon card sets, allegedly. And a lot of people think this set has the best artwork in Pokemon card history, and I figured we'd take a look and see if we think that holds up, and if so, why. Starting off here, let's begin. We have Aerodactyl. This is a rare card. Looks like it's flying through some sort of cave with a cave lake. Has kind of like a greenish look to it, probably because of the surrounding environment. It's an okay card. Nothing too crazy, but not bad. Here we have the Alakazam. Now all these cards we're going to look at for a little while also have holographic variants, so we'll see those later. Boy, is this a creepy card. I don't know what this red ball here is in the background. God, look at that stare on its face. Definitely a little bit unsettling. We got Arcanine here. Looking out into the distance, looks like there's like a sandstorm or something going on. Then you got this tower here. I wonder what it's looking for. A friend, a foe, somebody else you know. And we got Articuno here. Flying through what looks like a tower. Beautiful card. I want to get this one. And then it looks like, is that like some sort of mountain there in the background? I'm not exactly sure. Looks like it's definitely nighttime out. God, I gotta get this card. And I think, yeah, I think that's the same tower that we see here. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And that's one of the things I like about these E-series sets is like they all like seem to be like themed around locations. So like you'll see like different cards like of different Pokemon that are like kind of around like the same areas, which is pretty interesting. We got some Beedrill here flying through a forest. Looks very 3D-esque. Huh. Got tons of Crobats here. Wow, look at that. Some of them are hanging upside down. Some of them are flying. I don't know where this is, but I wouldn't want to be there. And we got this nice Dugong chilling out. Looks like this Dugong is at the hot springs. I'm not sure what a Dugong is doing at hot springs. You'd think being an ice Pokemon, that would not be a good spot for it to live or visit or anything, but what do I know? It's also part water type, so maybe it can go there and hang out and be just fine. We got this Flareon out here in the desert. Some desert plants. This one's kind of growing on me. Like, I didn't like it that much at first, but like, after becoming a fan of the Arcanine card from Aquapolis, done by the same artist, Yumamoto, like, this one's kind of been growing on me. I really have been appreciating this type of artwork. Could be a pickup someday if I can ever find it for a moderately reasonable price. Who knows if that'll happen, though. Got this fortress here. Gengar, hanging out in some ancient ruins. We got a Zapdos statue. Got an Articuno statue. And I'm not exactly sure. It looks like Gengar maybe is looking down on somebody or something, or another Pokemon. Doesn't look like it has real good intentions here. Look at those eyes. Pretty cool card, though. Probably one of the better Gengar cards, really. Then we got Gyarados here hanging out. And God, look at all the fury around it. Looks like it's like blowing like flames in multiple directions. It's got like a glow around its head. You can see its body here in the background. This is a fan favorite card for many people. I can see why. Masago did this one. I believe Masago's the person who did the Umbreon from Neo Discovery too. Very interesting card. Wouldn't mind owning that one. And you just don't see these kind of artworks anymore, you know? They were getting wild during this era. Creepy Houndoom here, howling up at the sky. We got this 3D Jolteon here. Nothing too special. Kabutops here in a cave. Lunging out, ready to fight. Got Lady in here. Looks rather 3D. magical trail behind it. Maybe it's like sleep powder or something like that. I don't know. Got Machamp here in a fighting pose up in the mountains. Looks like there might be like a geyser or something in the background. Because here you got that, and then you got water running down these little streams right here. Got a Magcargo posing for the camera. Hot lava creeping down the side of this volcano. Kusajima. Then we got this Magcargo. Looking rather epic here, staring off in the distance, perched up on this rock. Looks like there might be some hot springs in the background. Kind of like what we saw with the dugong earlier. And here we got this Magneton looking at these giant balls. I don't know what these are. Looks very curious about them though. What a strange location. And there's 3 of these balls. Huh. Magneton looks kind of chunky here too. Like, look at the size of those magnets. They're so small. Definitely an interesting artistic interpretation of Magneton. And then we got Magneton here touring the ruins where we saw Gengar earlier. Got the Zapdos statue. I think that's Moltres right there. Maybe this is who Gengar was looking down on, huh? And we got Moltres flying over that same tower that we saw Articuno around in Arcanine. So that's pretty cool. And I wonder if this tower is near those legendary bird statues too, because that would make sense, right? Since you got the actual legendary birds flying around this area. I don't see those statues anywhere around here though. It's got to be nearby though. We got Nidoqueen. Looks like it's touring some ruins or a castle or something like that. I don't know what exactly she's doing. Maybe she's looking for her king or her kids. Who the hell knows? Got Omastar here, looking like it's performing like a ritual or something in this cave. Kusajima. Definitely a strange one. We got Pillow-Swine here. We got a Mori artwork. Got that nice claymation style going on. Always get a kick out of these. Some people hate them. It's definitely a love or hate thing, but I like them. We got Politoed. This is actually one of my favorites. Nishida artwork. Perched on some sort of little rock or something here in this pond. Lots of vegetation around it. Looking very innocent. Almost too innocent. I want that one though. And we got a Poliwrath here. Looking very tough and epic sitting up on this rock. Other cliffs in the background with it looks like a Charizard flying by, I'm guessing. There's like its little flame, there's its wings. Or it could actually, it's either a Charizard or that could be an Aerodactyl actually, based on like looking at its head there. Let me know in the comments, is that a Charizard or an Aerodactyl? I'm leaning towards Aerodactyl right now. And we got this Raichu here. Not really much to say about this one. It's just kind of random, just hanging out. We got a really epic looking Raikou here. Hanging out by some like stone pillars or something. Kind of reminds me of Stonehenge. Electricity shaking off its tail looks like. Arita artwork. Definitely one of his best, I think. Looks really nice. Right on here. Up in the mountains. And we got Starmie. Looks like Starmie's hanging out by those same rock pillars that we saw Raikou at. So that's kind of interesting. And it's like glowing with some sort of energy. I wonder if like these pillars like power up Pokemon or something like that. Makes you wonder. We got this very strange looking Steelix card. I think this is one of those cards where either you're gonna love it or hate it. Looks like a very polarizing type of artwork. And we got the Umbreon card. Of course, a lot of people are super crazy about this card. Nishida artwork. I've always found it to be kind of bland though. Like there's not really much going on here. It's just Umbreon hanging out. Big old moon as always. Like all the Umbreon cards basically have moons. It's turning around and looking at you. Kind of like, now that I look at it, reminds me of the Dark Sylveon card from the 25th anniversary promos. Because it's like looking over its shoulder like that. But I am noticing now that I'm looking at it more carefully, I do see those stone pillars here that we saw in some of the previous artworks with Starmie and Raikou and all them. So that's kind of interesting. I still, though, just compared to like the Aquapolis one, I just think they could have done more with this. It's a little basic. But what card is not basic is this Vaporeon here. This card is fantastic. Jumping out of the water here at a little oasis. Got a house in the background with some nice palm trees. This card's beautiful. Definitely my favorite Vaporeon artwork. So much detail. And we got Wigglytuff here. Very unique artwork. I don't even know what you call this kind of artwork, but I kind of like it. It's kind of like claymation, I guess. Kind of like Mori's artworks, but something about it's just a little bit different. But it's fine. We got Xatu here. Flying through the sky. We have a very strange looking Electrode done by Kazuki here. Looks like there is like a thunderstorm that's like just hammering down on it. And it looks like Electrode actually isn't enjoying that storm very much, which is interesting. Wouldn't have expected that. You'd think it'd be loving all that electricity. And you got a town here in the background with some steeples. Interesting. We got Kabuto here in a cave. Might be that same cave we saw Aerodactyl in and Omastar. And Machoke. Pounding the ground. Causing fissures all around it. Looking very tough. Got Mischievous here. Nishida artwork. Very pretty. Like the colors on it. Got Noctowl. Not bad. Nothing too crazy, but not bad. Omanite here in the cave. It's definitely the cave for all the fossil Pokemon. Persian. Hanging out by those powerful rocks we saw earlier. Nishida artwork. Pilswine. Looks like it might be by those hot springs. I can't tell if those are clouds or smoke from the hot swings. Difficult to say, but we do see some water over here in the corner. Got Starmie. Hanging out in a cave. Could be the same fossil Pokemon cave, I don't know. Umamoto artwork. I really am. I'm starting to like this artwork style. It's different. And what the heck is this Wobbuffet going on here? So we got one Wobbuffet in the corner. It almost looks like it's like chained up with handcuffs or something, sorta. And then you got this one that's like protecting it or something maybe. And then we got like a depiction of maybe a Tauros here on the wall and a Doduo. So it's definitely some sort of ancient cave paintings going on here. I'm not really sure exactly what the story is here. What do you think it is? We got Abra hanging out at a desert village. And this is probably the same desert village we just saw Vaporeon hanging out at. Because there's the watering hole and there's the buildings. Kind of cool. Buried fossils. I like the colors on that. Here we got Cleffa. We're back at Stonehenge again. Kind of a neat artwork. Very stylized by Tanaka. Wouldn't mind picking this one up. We got a really stylized card here by Kazuki. Got Delibird hanging out in Happy Rainbow Land. Sitting up here on this building. Some houses are here in the background with lots of trees. Looks like a pretty peaceful place to live. I'll move in. Then we got Diglett here. Hanging out by some sort of lake. I don't think it's that same desert village lake though, because I don't see like any buildings around here. Kamiya artwork. Very basic for a Kamiya artwork. But this one's a little bit more interesting. Here we see the same cave we saw those Wobbuffets at. We have a better look at some of the cave drawings. There we have the Tauros and the Doduo, and there's people running along with them. And I think that looks like a Pikachu right there. And maybe, is that a Pharaoh up there? Looks like a flying Pokemon. And it looks like Ditto is getting ready to protect this cave. And now that I think about it, that Wobbuffet looked like he was ready to protect that cave too. So maybe like the Pokemon are like, maybe this is like a sacred location to them or something and they're protecting it. I don't know. We have a Dugtrio here looking very remorsed about destroying this forest allegedly. Looks like it made a mistake. Maybe it made a wrong turn and just destroyed all these trees. I'm not sure. But this one looks really sad about it. Kamiya artwork again. And we got Dunsparce here. Mori. Kind of basic. Got Eevee. Of course, this is my profile picture for YouTube. Looking at these ruins. The reason I chose this picture is like since my name is the Poke Historian, I thought looking back at like ancient cave drawings with Eevee kind of like fit with the theme of like history and everything. So that's why I chose this picture. And again, here we see Tauros, Doduo, and the people running along with it. And then this Pokemon, whatever it is. Maybe that's a Skarmory. Let me know in the comments what you think this Pokemon is. Cool artwork, though. We got Farfetch'd here at the hot springs. Taking it easy. Looks like a real peaceful day. Good for you, Farfetch'd. Live it up. You have to battle with your leak afterwards. We got two fortresses. Being fortresses? I don't know. And we got Ghastly here. Looks like it's at the same ruins as Gengar. Swooping around at night. Umamoto artwork. And we got Giraffe Rig here. Looks like we're back at the desert village. There's the watering hole, and there's one of the buildings in the background. Baba artwork. I like this one. Just looks so hand-drawn. I love it. We got Gligar here. Kind of a basic card, but I like the way Gligar looks. Very stylized. And we got Golbat here. Looking at what looks like sort of a Nazca Lines influenced work of art here on the ground featuring Ho-Oh. And we got either a purple sun or a purple moon. Kamiya artwork, pretty cool. I think that will be the first of a few times we see that Ho-Oh Nazca Lines set of artistry. Got Granbull here. Looking very scary and fierce. Don't want to mess with you. Got Growlithe here. Possibly hanging out the desert ruins, but it looks like there's a lot of vegetation, so I'm not sure. Hard to say. Could be the desert village too, though. Or it could just be a standalone location. And here we are, we're back at the ruins again with the Zapdos statue. With Haunter creeping around. I always thought Haunter was such a cool Pokemon. In some ways, I think I enjoy it more than Gengar. It just looks so old and decrepit and spooky. We got Heracross slashing. Got a Mori artwork of a Hoot Hoot. Not bad. Got a very stylized Houndour here. Looks like it's hanging out by some sort of body of water. Maybe a waterfall here with an entrance to a cave up here at the top. Or maybe like Houndour is actually inside a cave here. I don't know, but looks like there's grass or vegetation or something like that. So maybe it's supposed to be outside. And then it looks like Houndour's got some sort of aura around it. So it looks like it's powered up. Kusajima. Very cool though. We got Igglybuff here. I don't recognize this location from some of the other artworks, but it looks like it's hanging out at some sort of pond and picking up a leaf. I like this artwork a lot, like on its own standalone. Lots of nice flowers here. I like the colors, very soft. Would not mind having that one. We got Jigglypuffs hanging out here. I think they might be at the hot springs, but it's hard to tell because the background is kind of unclear. But either way, they're having a good old time, and I'm happy for them. Live it up, guys. And we got Kadabra back here at Stonehenge, peeking out. Little does it know it's going to turn into a super creepy Alakazam someday. I like this a lot better than the Alakazam. We got Kakuna hanging out. This kind of reminds me of the location we saw the Houndour at a few minutes ago. Could be, might not be, who knows. We got Lapras here, hanging out at a nice lake, going for a swim. Kasubi, yeah, look how hand-drawn that looks. I like that. We got Ladybaw here with a couple Ladybaws in the background, looking up towards the top of this cliff. Here we got Ladybaw at the Desert Village. Two of them, Baba artwork. Very stylized, I like it. Machop. Looks like it probably caused that geyser, and it's very proud of that. Way to go, Machop, you're on your way. We got some Magikarp here swimming up this spring, or this waterfall, I should say. Making their way. Then we got Magnemite here, and we've seen these balls before. These are the same balls we saw Magneton hanging around, so what's the deal with these balls? Very, very strange. We got Mantine swimming in the cave, maybe the same cave we saw those fossil Pokemon. A little Remoraid by its side. Now here we go, look at this Meowth. This is a great depiction here. Eating some fruit, hanging out in this tree, overlooking the desert village with the oasis. That's a great artwork. So chill, so well drawn. We got a real quacky looking Murkrow here squawking about. Looks like it's also at the desert village. Got the pond here and got the houses and some cliffs. The only thing I'll say is it looks like there's more vegetation in this depiction of the village, but I think it's still the same location because then you got palm trees here. It's gotta be. And we got Natu here. And I think those are those same silver balls we saw the Magneton and the Magnemites hanging out by. You can see Natu's reflection here. Huh. What is the story with these balls? And we got Nidoran creeping through the ruins, and we're seeing some more statues of Zapdos and Moltres. Nidoran, she's looking a little unsure here. I mean, there are lots of ghost Pokemon around. I guess it would be kind of a spooky location. We got Nidoran again. Wait. Okay, so those are both female ones. Wait, but are they the same color? Yeah, I guess they are. They're both blue. It's just this one's darker. It's just the way the artist drew the Pokemon. So this one's hanging out by a body of water, getting a little drink. And we got Nidorina here at the ruins, still exploring. Oh. Here's the Mori Pikachu. I remember for a while, and it's probably still the case, that this card is actually going for a lot of money if you get like the reverse holo variant of it. I always thought it was kind of a random card, but some people really like it. Oh, keep wanting to skip this Pineco. Kind of an interesting artwork though, huh? Looks like it's hanging out over a fault line with some cliffs here. Pineco, what are you doing here? Why did you pick this location out of all the places you could hang out? Like, wouldn't you rather just go hang out and like from a tree that's like 6 feet tall as opposed to like hanging like hundreds of feet in the air? Would not want to be you. We got another Pineco here, just hanging out some dirt. Got a really derpy looking Poliwag here, just doing its thing. What a funny little guy. I got Poliwhirl doing a beautiful dive into the lake in this cavern. Oh, we got Raticates here. Looks like they're back in the desert. This one's taking a nap, and this one is probably looking out to make sure nothing attacks this one. And we got a Rattata throwing dirt at us. Not looking very happy. Wonder if it just pooped like a dog does when it kicks up like the ground afterwards. Ugh. Okay. Kind of a strange Rhyhorn card. If you've ever seen like that Zelda CDI image of like Ganon, you know, where it gets up real close to the camera at the end of like one of the cutscenes, that's kind of what this reminds me of a little bit. Oh, this is a beautiful card. God, look at this Kimura artwork. These sand shrews just looking up at this night sky and contemplating their existence. Gorgeous. I gotta get this card at some point. So pretty. I love the colors on the sand too. Sand slash, it's okay. Got seal hanging out. Could be the hot springs, might not be, who knows. Hard to really tell for sure, but what we do know for sure is that we see sort of a mountainous background, which is where you typically don't see seal. Scratching his head. Here we have seal hanging out in that cave where the fossil Pokemon live. I think I like this one a little bit better. This sleeping one's kind of funny. We got Shuckle at the desert village, looks like. I think this is the body of water here, but I don't know for sure. I'm guessing it is because it looks like it's got little waves and stuff on it. We got Skarmory over here with the Ho-Oh Nazca lines. So yeah, with that cave artwork we saw earlier, I think that would have to be Skarmory because now they have like a Skarmory card featured in the set and it's looking over the Nazca lines, and I'm sure that cave with the Pokemon depictions is somewhere nearby. I think it's probably Skarmory on those cave walls. And we got Slugma here, deep in a volcano. God, look how detailed this artwork is. Different rock formations and everything, and lava. Pretty cool. Chimera does such good artwork. And we got Slugma here at the hot springs. Contemplating what it should do with that. Should I go in there? Would I be safe in there? Like, I am a fire Pokemon, so I probably shouldn't go in water, but at the same time, it's hot water, so would I be okay? Only you can figure that out, Slugma. I just don't know what the answer is. But this boy, he didn't waste any time getting in the water. People love this Snorlax card. Taking it easy. Soaking up the hot water. It's a good place for a Snorlax. It's a good place for a lot of us, I feel like. We got Snubble here in a very precarious situation. Just barely hanging on by a leaf over the desert village. Like, what even happened here? How did you get in this situation, Snubble? Like, were you up here trying to get this, but then, like, how did you end up on this leaf? And how is this leaf even supporting you? Like, shouldn't that, like, leaf be coming down? So many questions here. So many questions. Stantler getting a good look at its butt. I don't know what else to say about that. Staryu here at the mountains. Have this Staryu. Looks like it's doing a dance or like looking out for something in this ice cave. Got some Golbats in the background. That's kind of a cool artwork. Sunflora just hanging out by a waterfall. Suncurrent. I feel like we've seen this location a couple times now. Like, this looks like to me like the same place where that Houndour was hanging out. Because you got the waterfall, you got the vegetation, you got the stream down here. Maybe that's the entrance to that cave where the fossil Pokemon live. Swinub, Mori artwork. Got another Swinub here. Teddiursa at the hot springs. With another Teddiursa calling out. Just jump in. Snorlax likes it. Snorlax seems like it's kind of like a bear type Pokemon, so you'd probably like it too. Get in. Look, Big Daddy's in there. You should get in there too. And boy, does this Ursaring look happy. Ursaring kind of reminds me of like a cartoon bear or something sometimes for some reason. Just like that look on its face. Mitsuhiro Rita. We got Venomoth here. Hanging out over a body of water. Kind of looks like, again, that same location where Sunkern was at. Except I don't see the waterfall this time. Got a weird Venonat. I don't even know what's going on here. Kamiya. Voltorb. Looks like it's hanging out in some sort of Western bar because you got like those like shutters where you come in and it looks like there's like alcohol on the table or something. He looks like he's saying like, "Oh, I'm calling you out, partner." What a funny little artwork. Western Voltorb. And here we have the bravest Weedle that ever lived on his leaf boat, making his way on these river rapids. I don't know where you're headed, but Godspeed, Weedle. Godspeed. We got another Weedle. Looks like it's hanging out in the same village where that Delibird lived. Interesting. Same artist, Kazuki. And we got Yanma again. We're back at the Ho-Oh Nazca lines. At some point, we're actually going to see this Ho-Oh, right? Sure love showing us the artistic depiction of it. Let's see the actual Pokemon already. And we got Zubat here. Very stylized art. I think that's a waterfall in the background, I'm guessing. Tons of Zubats. I like the colors on this card, though. It's nice. But you know what? I like this one by Yumamoto done even more. Like, look at the texture on that water. Like, all the different lines and everything. That's so cool. I got some common cards to pick up. And here we have it, the ancient ruins we've been seeing. Got Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. And there's a Pokeball symbol on the ground, so what's that all about? Does that mean there's like ancient Pokemon battles back in the day, but like, did they have Pokeballs back in the day? I'm guessing so, because there's one depicted on the ground there. Makes you wonder how old these ruins really are. Or maybe I'm just overthinking a very basic trainer card. And who is this chick? Relic Hunter. Look at that, very detailed. Got some binoculars. Got a Fearow in the background. Long flowing silver hair. I feel like you don't see a lot of trainers look like this. This is like, I don't even know. This doesn't even look like Pokemon artwork to me in some ways. It just looks like kind of a more stylized anime. But I like it though. Himono did the artwork. Pretty cool. Here we go. Look how stylized this one is. Apricorn Maker, same thing. Look at this guy. Like, that is not your typical Pokemon character. And it looks like they're missing an eye, because like this one's open and this one looks like they got hurt. Like, then there's a Sunkern over here. Pretty wild artwork. Crystal Shard. Pretty good Kirby game. Got the Desert Shaman. God, I got Himono just doing all these crazy artworks. Look at this. Got this like shaman chick. Got a giant staff here. Who knows what she's summoning? The Apocalypse, maybe? Look at that hair. She's got a ton. Fastball. This fisherman dude hanging out. Looks like he's getting ready to catch some Pokemon. He's got his pick out there. He's got the whole Poliwag line here. You got Poliwag, Poliwhirl, Poliwrath, and Politoed all hanging out. It's a nice detail. Got a Friend Ball, Hyper Potion, Lure Ball, Miracle Spear. Okay, so these are those like silver balls we were seeing earlier that like Natu was hanging out with, and Magnemite and Magneton. So they're called Miracle Spears. They must have some sort of power. Attach this to one of your Pokemon that's Fire, Electric, or Fighting type Pokemon in play. That Pokemon may use this card attack instead of its own. Fire Force. Okay, so like I guess like these spheres like give your Pokemon some sort of special attack. Fire Force. If the Pokemon using this attack has a Fire and Electric basic energy card attached to it, the defending Pokemon is now confused. If the Pokemon using this attack has Fire and Fighting basic energy cards attached to it, this attack does 30 plus 10 more damage. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So these like spheres like power up your Pokemon. That makes sense. Another Miracle Spear. Is that the symbol for beta? I think so. So what was the symbol on this one? Is that alpha? I don't know. I don't know my Greek letters. We got another one. So these are all have like, these basically allow your Pokemon to learn like special attacks. That's really neat. We got the Mirage Stadium here. Got a mystery plate with some ancient hieroglyphs on it. Desert Burn. If your opponent has 5 or more prizes, search your deck for a trainer card. Show it to your opponent and put it into your hand. If your opponent has only 1 prize card, the defending Pokemon is now burned, paralyzed, and poisoned. Attach this card to one of your Pokemon in play. That Pokemon may use this card's attack. Okay, so this is another thing that like gives your Pokemon like a super special attack. Interesting. And here we have another mystery plate beta maybe? And it looks like this mystery plate is over at those Stonehenge structures we've been looking at this whole time. Another mystery plate. Looks like this one's in the cave. Maybe that's what those Pokemon like in the cave were protecting, like the Ditto and the Wobbuffet. Maybe they were protecting this plate. Because that kind of looks like hieroglyphs there. Maybe not, I don't know, but it kind of does. Like maybe that's the whole point. Mystery plate something. Looks like this one is in underwater maybe? Maybe it's in the hot spring, or maybe it's in that cave where all the fossil Pokemon are. Mystery zone. This card stays in play when you play it. Discard this card if another stadium card comes into play. Once during each player's turn before he or she attacks, if that player has an evolution card in his or her hand, he or she may search his or her deck for a basic energy card, show it to his or her opponent, and put it into his or her hand. Then that player chooses an evolution card from his or her hand, shows it to his or her opponent, and puts it into his or her deck. That player shuffles his or her deck after. God, that's a lot of his or hers for me. Jeez. We got the Oracle here, and the Oracle has an Umbreon hanging out with it. It's got a quill to write with. Cool. Looks like a pretty noble dude. Probably connected. Maybe he's married to that shaman lady. Got a star piece here. Nice. Underground Expedition. I've definitely seen like this girl featured like in a more recent Pokemon card, like one of the trainer cards. So she's been around since Skyridge at the very earliest, I guess, maybe even earlier. Then she's got this guy helping her, and there's some Diglets and a Zubat. That's interesting. Definitely seen her before. Here we have the Underground Lake where we saw all those fossil Pokemon. It's a stadium card. Bounce Energy. Cyclone Energy. That's cool. Retro Energy looking like DNA. That might be the wildest energy card I've ever seen. And now we're getting into the Crystal Pokemon, the rarest cards in the set. Here we have the Crystal Celebi. Absolutely beautiful card. And it's hard to see the artwork here because of the hollow pattern, but like the artwork and the background details are absolutely gorgeous too. Got this Charizard, Koki Saito, who did the Mario Pikachu. A lot of people really like this Charizard, but I always thought it looked kind of strange. Like I feel like its head doesn't look right to me. Still a decent card though. Got a Crobat here. Got Golem. This one's really well drawn. Arita. No surprise there. And here we got Ho-Oh finally. After seeing those damn Nazca lines over and over again, all those artworks, we finally see the Ho-Oh itself flying through the sky. Kusajima artwork, and I love the way this one looks. It's got that nice watercolor aesthetic going on. Almost looks like, I don't even know, it looks like artwork that was like done before our time, you know, like kind of like almost looks like Native American-esque to me, but I don't know. It just very, very stylized. I love it. Might be my favorite Ho-Oh card. Kabutops by Nishida. This one looks really good. I love the colors here in the background. These crystal types are so cool. And here we have the holo versions of the rare cards we saw at the beginning of this video. Got the Alakazam, Arcanine, Articuno, Beedrill, Crobat, the Dugong, the Flareon, Fortress, the Gengar, the Gyarados. God, look at that one when it's hollow. Houndoom, Jolteon, Kabutops, Ladian, Machamp, Magcargo, Magcargo again. You got two Magcargos in this set. What an interesting choice. Magnemite, or Magneton I should say. Magneton again. And see, like the reason you have, I think, some of like these repeats like that is that our Skyridge is actually the conglomeration of two Japanese sets. So like in Japan, there would have been only like one mag cargo like in the set, and then there would have been like another mag cargo in the set that went after that. But since those two sets were combined into one, we have this situation where you have like multiple rares of the same Pokemon, like we do with Magneton here. Anyways, Moltres, got Nidoqueen, Piloswine, Politoed, Poliwrath, Raichu, Raikou, Rhydon, Starmie, Steelix, Umbreon, Vaporeon, Xatu, and that's it. So yeah, that's the entire Skyridge set. Definitely some really interesting artworks here. And I like how they like tell a story and you have like all these different Pokemon like featured like in like the same or similar locations. So you really kind of get like an idea for like what those places are all about. Now, as far as the actual artwork goes, I still think I prefer Aquapolis as my favorite E-Series set, but I think this is probably the close second, then I would probably put Expedition third. But it definitely deserves its reputation for having beautiful artwork, and you certainly can't go wrong like with picking up a lot of the cards from this set. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.